Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Paragon and the Rise of the Wild Drummer. So as I am D, and today we're going to be taking a look at this gentleman here. This is Narbash. Now, in Paragon, supports are a little weird. I mean, Narbash here, he is technically a support. He's also very durable. He's got about an 8 rating on that scale. His main job, just like with regular supports, is to try and keep his carry alive in lane. Narbash has some good abilities to do this. Half of his abilities are buffs to his teammate, or teammates. The other half are good disables to use on the enemy. Not counting his left click, which, as you can see over here, is called Wallop. Just basic attack, melee ranged. Nothing really special to write about here, except that he hits you with his drumsticks, which are also, giant maces. His right click is one of his crowd control abilities, Thunk. Throw a drumstick that deals ability damage and stuns for 1 second. It's not a huge amount of stun, and it doesn't go up. At least I don't think it does. We'll find out in the game. But Thunk is a good one to pick up early and just leave at one point. Put a value point into it. Because the 100 mana is a little bit expensive, and the 1 second stun is not great. But you can use this to help chase, because Thunk has a pretty decent range to it. Next up you have March, your Q. This is the first of your support abilities. Grants Narbash and nearby allies 125 max move speed that decays over 4 seconds. This is mostly an escape skill. Unlike your other support skill, this is a fire off and it's done. This just goes once. It doesn't work like the E does. This is great for closing gaps or making them bigger, depending on which way you need to go. It's also good for helping you get back into lane quickly. March, we're going to take a point in second, and then we're going to alternate between it and RE, which is Song of My People. This is a toggled aura that grants you some serious health regen, but uses up 12 mana every second while active. This is great for keeping your carry alive. If they're close enough that the aura is active for them, the health regen is amazing. You can keep somebody alive really easily with Song of My People. And then finally his ultimate is the other crowd control, Crash Bang Boom. Deafening Ruckus AoE that knocks up enemies and applies a negative 350 max move speed slow. Deals ability damage over 3 seconds. So it does quite a bit of damage, and the AoE knockup, if I remember right, comes at the end of the ability. So once it hits the 3rd second, bam, or boom actually, and the enemy goes up in the air. The slow is great, the knockup is also great. Narbash's ultimate is actually a great teamfight initiator. We will pick this up whenever we can, which is 5, 9, and I believe 14. But yes, Crash Bang Boom is a fun ultimate for somebody like Narbash. Now, like I said, half his abilities are crowd control, half are support. So, unfortunately the deck I'm going to be using is not quite 100% for this guy, but you'll see what I mean when we get into it. I'll see you in just a second with the deck. Alright, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the deck I was talking about. I call this my pure support deck. I mostly built it because there's a lot of support characters, or there's a few of them, and it works for pretty much all of them. Similar to the Chimera deck, this one actually has a little bit of everything in it. It does use agility, vitality, and intelligence. Most of the stuff you're going to be looking for, though, is intelligence and vitality. Let's start with the cards. First off, you have Fonts of Experience. Pick this up first. You don't get a point in anything, but having that extra experience every 10 seconds means that you'll level up quicker, and you need that because as a support, you're not going to be getting last hit experience for the most part. I'm probably going to be getting some because I'm going to be playing with AI like I always do for this kind of thing, but have Fonts of Experience because as Narbash levels up faster, that means you get your abilities quicker and you can be more useful in the team fights to come. So, like I said, Fonts of Experience, pick up first. Next up, the Lightstep Vanguard. 100 mana on its own. For 50 mana every minute, you can teleport to an allied structure. This is your Tongue Portal, effectively. It's a very good skill if you get killed or if you had to go back and you want to get back into lane quickly. You just gotta be careful because teleporting to an allied structure is difficult because of the targeting system. It's a lot like targeting a global AoE or global ultimate in this game, where you just kind of aim in the general direction and hope you click the right thing. Next up, you have Mana Flow Acolyte, just some power on its own, of course. We talked about this one before. The max mana and power you get when purchasing Intellect is very good, because Narbash, he needs a lot of mana, and he needs a lot of power, because the more power you have, the better off you'll be at healing and at doing some damage, although damage is not your main focus with Narbash. Next up is a fun one, Radiant Healer. Healing gives you 190 health and gives you healing aura, and nearby allies gain 5 health regen. This is not a huge amount, but again, alongside your aura, alongside Song of My People, Radiant Healer gets somebody back into the fight incredibly quickly. Next up, Supply Sergeant. Again, 110 mana, 25% mana regen. Every 75 seconds, you can give yourself and nearby allies 150 mana. It's just a good way to keep your allies in the fight, and if you have this up, when you have Song of My People active, you can keep it going a little bit longer. Just about a little over 10 seconds. Actually, 12 seconds. Anyway, next up, Gates of Salvation. 80% mana regen, 25 ability armor. Heal aura. Passive, heal nearby allies for 275 health every 35 seconds. This is a pulsing aura, it's not the constant one of Radiant Healer, but it's not a bad one either. And then Elevate. Increase frequency of healing by 4% per attribute point purchased. Elevate is the affinity ability for order cards. This is an intellect order deck, so this is a white-blue deck. And Elevate is the main, like I said, Elevate is the main ability of the white order cards. So the more you get, the more attribute points you have, the faster Gates of Salvation will heal. This is a big one to get, although it does cost 7 intellect to equip. It's a good card to get as soon as you can. Next up, Malink's Prayer. 240 health, 24 basic armor. Rallying Shout is your active ability on this. 75 mana, 80 second cooldown. Nearby allies heal for 275, and they gain 25 basic armor for 20 seconds. Again, this is a lot like Radiant Healer, Gates of Salvation, or it's a lot like Supply Sergeant, just on the heal side rather than on the mana side. It's a good one to have if your team just needs a little bit of extra sustain. Next up, Stagnant Dominion. 16 power, 40% mana regen. We talked about this one a little bit. The ability slow. The ability slow is not going to be great for using Thunk, because the 1 second stun will override the slow. However, using this with something like Crash Bang Boom means that the slow will actually be better, I think. I have not tested that 100%, so you might want to check into that on your own. Next up, we have Malink's Tribute. We have 2 Malink cards in this deck, yes. 15 power, 290 health. Overhealing Shield's passive. Gain a shield for any healing above max health, 15% maximum. With Song of My People on, Malink's Tribute is going to give you a shield very quickly. That is the big reason it's in this deck. Next up, Domain of Stillness. This is an interesting one. This is an epic rarity card, so you might not have this one. If you do, good, use it. 16 power, 230 mana, 60% mana regen, so a good 3 stats right off the bat. Then you have Group Stasis. Active ability for 100 mana every 75 seconds. And stasis yourself and all nearby heroes for 2.5 seconds. This is great if your team needs to run, or if you want to hang back and slow the enemy down by quite a bit. Domain of Stillness will help with that. Next up, the only 3-stat card in the entire deck, Song of the Sentinel. 290 health, 170 mana. Nearby allies gain 22 attack speed and 18 basic armor. There's a lot of auras in this deck, simply because they work well for Narbash, because he's already got a couple auras of his own. Use this to help your team with the pushing. That's it. And then finally, Godmother Vigilant is the final card. 15 power, 300 health, 190 mana. Percent health increase max health by 10%, and it goes up by 1% per attribute point purchased because of the Elevate ability. Godmother Vigilant is for late game, because as you can see, it's 13 vitality. But it's for late game because this is something you need to help you stay alive and keep your team alive, because that is what Narbash is all about. Alright, let's take a look at the gems. First off, the one agility gem you have in this deck, Auto Health Potion. We've talked about it before, it just heals you for some health when you fall below half health. Vitality gems, we have healing towers, so you gain health regen and mana regen when you're near structures. What this doesn't tell you is that this is not necessarily allied structures. If your team is pushing a tower, congrats, you have more health and more mana regen than you thought. The big gem, the final one, Armor Aura. 36.75 mana, 2.2 health regen, that's for you. Nearby enemy units have basic armor reduced by 12. Allies have basic armor increased by 12. So this is a great way for Narbash to be just a little bit tankier and to help his teammates stay alive and kill faster. Next, the Intellect Gems. Auto Mana Potion, just like the Auto Health Potion, we talked about this before. You go below 40% max mana, you gain some mana regen. Experience. Again, we talked about this one as well. You earn just a bit of bonus experience. Combine this with Font of Experience, you'll be leveling up quickly, which is what Narbash needs. He needs his skills more than he really needs cards. Then finally, the Mana Fountain. 2.2 health regen. Regen up to 10 mana per second based on missing mana. This is just great because you need mana regen as Narbash. Alright folks, that was a bit of a quicker rundown than last time, I think. But I'll see you in just a bit as we get into the game. Alright, folks, we're now in the game. Like I said, we're going to go and pick up Font of Experience. I'm going to put it on my third slot just to get it out of the way. And now we're going to head to lane. You want to start in the right lane as the support. Massive lag spikes here and there, but like I said, you want to start in the right lane as a support because that's where your carry is going to be. I'm going to start off with Song of My People. I've got my heal, I've got my extra experience going, and I'm going to be helping out a Twin Blast. Whose name I just realized is actually supposed to be one word. But yeah, there you see, that's what Wallop looks like. It's not very strong. I am going to take a couple of blast hits here and there, but as you can see, Steel has seen us, and he's already like, no, I don't want any of that. Now, I could be using Song of My People to keep my minions alive, but I'm not going to do that. Because I don't want them. I want them to be alive, but I don't want them to super push. I want to stay out from. I kind of want to stay out from under the tower for a bit. Right, there's my level. I'm going to pick up Thunk here. That is my value point in Thunk. I'm going to hold on to that at level 1 just because it's. Like I said, I don't remember if the stun duration goes up. Let's go ahead and activate Song of My People. Now this, unlike the Q, like I said, this is an aura, so this one will move with you. There we go. First point we're going to get, we're actually going to put it into agility to get the auto health potion. I'm going to stun Steel to get Twin Blast out of there. And then pop my heal. And this might actually be first blood. Yes it is. I'm going to go ahead and deactivate Song of My People. I'm going to upgrade it here. And we're also going to take auto mana potions. Alright, now when my carry is out of lane, I am allowed to take as much farm as I want. Remember, that is the big rule for supports. Take the farm only when your carry is out of lane. And now I gotta head back. Unfortunately, because we headed back with only 2 points, we don't have enough to get anything, so... Level 4, pick up March. I'm gonna go and get healing towers for my third gem. Just so I've got it. Do be situationally aware as a support, so you can always get to where you need to be. And there's the ultimate. Crash Bang Boom is online. I'm actually going to activate it. There's the knockup. And now I'm going to start putting points into Intellect. Here at level 6, pick up Song of My People level 3. Third point into intellect, and now we're gonna head back. First card we're gonna take is we're gonna take Radiant Healer here. So we've got a constant heal aura. Also gonna activate March real quick. Now, if anybody comes near me, they do not get that. It's only when you only get March if you're near me, if you're near Narbash when it's activated. I'll show you real quick how quickly we can heal Twin Blast here. He was near dead, and now he's more or less full health. Take March level 2. Now, hopefully you'll be able to communicate with your carry a little bit better than I can with this guy, this AI, but you really want to stick with them. That blue line you just saw me run over, that's the edge of where March gets active. And there at level 8, we max out Song of My People. Alright. Level 9, we pick up our second point in our ultimate. Alright, what we're going to do here, now that we're back, is we're going to take Supply Sergeant. Just know we've got Supply Sergeant. We have we have extra mana to give people. This is where Narbash starts coming into his own, is when you can get a good strong support build like this going. And activate my ultimate here to keep Steel from being able to escape us. Then I'm going to run around behind him and body block effectively. Normally, if my Twin Blast had been chasing, I'd have let him get the kill, but he wasn't. Alright, buff up March to level 3 there. And we're going to pick up another point in Intellect. Richter using his ultimate on me is not going to do much, because I've got a ton of regen ability right now. You see, normally this is a situation where your team as a whole would want to back off. And there's the maxed out March. Alright, I'm going to head back, and we're going to talk a little bit about my choices here. Because there's a choice you can make. You can keep Font of Experience going and keep leveling up quickly. Or you can do what I'm about to do. Namely, I'm going to ditch this in favor of Mana Flow Acolyte. Now my healing will be stronger, as will my team fight disruption. Because ultimately, that is what Narbash is. He's a teamfight support who's got good disruptive abilities. Let's go ahead and get right here so we can heal up Rampage. Couple of ultimates committed to kill Steel. I kind of lost my sight there for a minute. Also, now that I've got my three of my big intelligence cards going, I'm going to start putting points into my vitality. So I want to get towards the armor aura. Also, I want to get towards some of these other vitality cards like Meling's Prayer. And right there you saw a good use of a good use of Supply Sergeant, because if not for that Supply Sergeant use, Twin Blast Ultimate would never have been able to be used. He didn't have enough mana for it. Alright, put the second point into Thunk. Oh, the stun does go up, I'm sorry. I do like to grab the purple buff as Narbash when I can, because being invisible as a support, especially as one as disruptive as Narbash can be, just a great way to make sure the other team is not ready. And then, oh, it's 13. Pick up the final level of Crash Bang Boom. That way. My ultimate now does 620 damage over 3 seconds. Now, if I wanted, I could ditch all 3 of my cards and pick up Domain of Stillness. That's not a good thing to do. That's not a good idea. Because without that, if I do that, then I don't have my mana giver, I don't have my mana restorer, I don't have my healing, I don't have my power. Now, once the team starts gathering up like this, you want to be with them, because you are the support. Let a tank like Rampage or Greystone lead the way, but be ready to follow. Luckily, because Narbash's ultimate actually has a pretty short cooldown, relative to some people's, you can use it to initiate fights even on solo targets. Alright, next time I'm back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out the Mana Flow Acolyte for the Godmother Vigilant. I'm just going to put a point into Intellect here. Because now I've got almost 3,000 health. One thing about being a support, know when to retreat as well. Not with a tank, you're with when I'm with a squishy mid laner. Like I said, don't go 3-on-2, especially don't go 4-on-1. Alright, now what I'm going to do here is weird. I'm going to ditch Supply Sergeant, and I'm going to actually take up Gates of Salvation. So I've got a ton of healing now. I can keep my entire team in the fight as long as I'm near them. I can't do it with mana anymore, but hey. Always destroy these, if you can. You'll notice I wasn't using any abilities, but I still lost quite a bit of mana. And you see there, even against that kind of concentrated aggression, I kept Greystone alive. And now I've got Mana Fountain, so I'm getting my mana back a lot quicker. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I think you got a pretty good idea of how Narbash plays. I'm actually going to jump out of this game, because playing a support in this game with AI is a little bit of an issue, because you can't really learn, because the AI does stupid things. They would call the group up and then not group up. They would say, I'm going to this lane, when we have a massive push going in the lane we're already in. Hopefully that gets fixed eventually, because, I mean, learning with other people can be stressful in games like this. Let's be honest here. So we're going to go ahead and end on this screen, because I don't have the victory screen or the defeat screen to show you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please sure to like or favorite the video. You can also leave a comment down below if you have anything you'd like to say. And if you want to keep up with me and never miss any of my current series, please feel free to click the subscribe button down below or the icon at the end of the video. As for that, folks, I have been D. This has been the Rise of the Wild Drummer. So good night and good gaming.